Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today we are looking at a Star Wars astromech droid. This is R46D0. So this is uh, an R4 series droid, which gives us the extended dome and everything else. It's kind of I love, I've said this many times. I really like how the droids are. They have their own little personalities. Come on up here, Indy. You come show yourself to the camera and everyone else. Yes, she loves to be the star at times. Um, we've had, of course, now uh, as let me get this unboxed here. While Indy is trying to fight for my attention because I just went out and got gas in the truck and now I gotta give her some attention to let her know that she's all lovey-dovey and all right. Um, on the back here, it does state that R4 was with Navarro under siege by pirates. Grief Kanaga used his trusted astromech droid, the R46D0, to send a plea for help to the New Republic pilot Carson Tiva. So I don't think I have him as a figure as of yet. If he becomes available, or at least available at the right price or whatever, I might be able to pick him up. When we look at the Mandalorian series, because a lot of people enjoyed the Mandalorian series. Indy, she's going to start chewing on plastic again. Indy, not going to yell at. No. Okay. So the differences here, and as we go through everything, so being an R4 series, now we're used to an R2. Now this one is different because this is actually the first one that got me into everything. This is actually a model that my wife had bought me years ago. That's what kind of started the whole getting into the 1/12 scale, the 6-inch figure line. So we have an R2 model. I believe this is an R3, and now we have an R4. No, R5 model. I'm sorry, R5. Red is an R5. So it's nice having different, even if they were to come out with different paint schemes and stuff like that, and just do it as a tribute pack to a lot, bunch of different ones or whatever, or just even unnamed ones in that regard, I would be happy with. Now I did pick up, and then Chopper, which is a C series, so that predates even the R series. As I'm getting all the instruments out here, it would be kind of nice to have some different colorations, and I believe he is an extra copy that I have that I'm really intending to kind of paint up a little bit to make him some, like a different droid. Because we don't get a lot of different astromech droids, and I do enjoy having astromech droids for my characters. I believe that it gives them an extra. Oh Jesus! I got the cat chewing on something again. That Indy loves to get into trouble. Give me a second here, please. No, don't chew on that. No. That stretch wrap is not a chew toy. Come on. Whoa. Here, we're going to knock the Legos down. There you go. I love you, kitten, but I don't want you getting sick. So I'm saying no. All right. I have to try and edit that out here. All right. So, getting into all these and looking at all the different things that we have, it's fun having different astromech droids. They're kind of like having a dog or a cat or whatever else that's there with you, can kind of help out a little here and a little there, and yet they can also be the cause of some of your problems that you have going on. So that's some of the reasons why I like droids. It's kind of like the space equivalent of having a pet. Now, I don't know if they did this or not, because on some of these, this top part of the dome can actually swivel. This one does not seem to have that feature here. In the Clone Wars, we had seen a version of a R4 where they hollowed this out, and then we had a small little guy, kind of like, and I can't think of the name. Um, I'd say he was probably about 20 centimeters or so, about a foot tall, thereabouts. And he was actually, they hollowed out the inside and made room so he could sit inside here and kind of get covered up, and no one would know that they had a living being on board there. Um, so just kind of going from there. Looking at what we have here today, nice basic round design, and that was done so that way they could all fit into different ports, but they all had their own specialties. Now our 2 series was great for starfighters. The R5s, and I've got all this stuff in the books, but I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. The R5, I believe, was more for transports and capital scale. Um, some of them were actually meant more for like speeder cars, or speeders, land speeders, and even some. There was one of them that they came out, and I think it was like an R10 series that was really meant for nothing more than whatever the New Republic fighter was at the time. I want to say it was for the E-wing, but I could be wrong. It might be a little bit more advanced than that. And I'm trying to get this down, and my fingernails, because I trimmed them, I can't get them down here. And I really don't want to use this, but I'll use the back side of the razor, so hopefully I don't score it, and I can just kind of pry that down a little bit. Okay, so we do have the front wheel out here. Kind of looks nice. Now we have our implements here. So we have either a grasp that looks like a grasper. Now this is for our data jack. This is our little multi-tool, or actually no, that's our arc welder that R2 had used to kind of get Crumb, the little monkey kind of guy, in Jabba's palace. And then we have like another like welder or whatever. So we do have a couple nice little implements here. I just don't know exactly where we're putting them in. It looks like these doors should open, but unfortunately, I'm just not able to open them up at the moment. So that kind of really makes a little bit of a crux at the moment. I should be able to get them in there, but I'm just... Again, I could probably use the razor blade, but I don't really want to use the razor blade. Now, to kind of look at it for like the R4 series, this kind of just snaps on here, and that's even from like the R2 and all that, where you can kind of swap them around. Very kind of nice in that regard. That does not look like something that we have here. This piece should come off if it does, but it doesn't look like it wants to come off. So whether it's just me not able to take that off or whatever, you may be able to swap that out and even give them that ability to our R4 here. Nice looking though. I'm trying to get this a little closer for you guys. Like I said, unfortunately, I'm not able to get these open. My fingernails just don't want to get in there, so we can get those extra tools in there. But it looks like it should open, because that's where it traditionally would, is right there on the sides. And of course, I was sitting there thinking my fingernails are getting way too long. They're a little bit longer than my index finger here. Oh, I almost got it. But it's in there tight, and it just does not want to come out. Alright, well, we'll use the razor because it's out just a little bit. There we go. Alright, and then we have 3 different spots. So I could potentially put 3 different tools in here. There's the one. Trying to think if I got this in here correctly or not. No, maybe I don't. There's 2. Oh, come on, you. Nope, not quite getting that one on in there the way it's supposed to. Maybe on the other side. All right, well, we'll have to use the razor blade, I guess. Something small enough to get in there so we can get this propped open. And Indy's walking around amongst all of my rummage sales stuff. Being a curious little kitten, which is wonderful in a lot of regards, but just wonder what I'm going to have fall on me next. All right, and we got all the implements on there. So he's all ready to sit here and work away and try and get whatever we have going for him to fixed. You know, it looks nice. I really enjoy these droids. I enjoy having a lot of the different varieties of droids that we can get. I just wish they'd make more in different colors. I don't care if they use the same mold. Just, you know, give me blues and greens and pinks and purples and whatever have you. Because, I mean, hey, just because we have certain ones or whatever doesn't, you know, when we were doing the 3 3/4 inch line, they had the Build a Droid figures and that. I would love getting those so I can mix and match. And of course, I've gotten rid of all that stuff over the years. And this time I'm making sure that I hang on to it. So it'll be a mess for my kids at some point, and then they're going to be shaking their head trying to figure out where to go with all this. But yeah, it's just, you know, the love of the universe and just the silliness that droids can bring into the world. George Lucas had the droids as kind of comedy relief inside of what was supposed to be kind of a serious, more adventurous world in the series of Star Wars. So in that regard, they worked really well because you have droids that are kind of outside of their elements and one that's kind of they were kind of like Abbott and Costello in a lot of regards. If you really stop and think about it, R2 was the Bud Abbott. He was kind of serious. He thought analytically. He wasn't afraid of things because he just didn't believe in all the things to be afraid of. Where you had 3PO and he's Costello and he's afraid of his own shadow half the time and just kind of dealing with that. But there they gave him the personality, like, because he deals with the humans, he is the one that should be in charge. And R2 really was the one that knew better most of the time. So it worked out really well. A little bit of lightheartedness out of them, but yet they were helpful in their own ways, and it helped keep things going. And we see that continued. Like Chopper is that kind of grumpy cat, where R2 was the happy dog, the always willing to help out. Again, it's just adding a little characteristics to them. And I think that's why we love AI and the thoughts of what we can do with it. Unfortunately, the things I keep hearing make it seem a little bit more like the Terminator. But we'll have to see what happens in the future. Hopefully we don't have Skynet running around trying to take us out. Although I will say this, and I've thought this for many years, computers always seem to get glitches, so at some point we might have a Terminator running around just trying to kill all the squirrels and another one trying to capture butterflies. That would be a funny thing to watch. The unfortunate part is there'd probably be other ones trying to take out humans. So we'll have just have to deal with that as it comes along. With that being said, thank you so very much for joining me today. It's wonderful having you here. I hope you're doing well, and I will see you in the next video.